Here we go, folks. TGIF edition. It's Friday. It's the firm of Rondinaro and Vento.
It is.
Yes, we'll represent you no matter what the case is. She's representing for the 2024 Summer Tour.
Which you can grab here at the DCI Marketplace if you were here.
Yeah, there you go. So, we come in here, Allentown got rained out. We're waiting to see where everything sits and settles, and my goodness, it has sat and settled
Yes,
after yesterday's prelims.
It has. What an exciting day.
It got better and better and better.
It got better and better, and you start at a certain spot, like say 25, 23, 24, and then you're thinking, how in the world are we gonna get to one? I mean, it was a gradual progression. It felt so good all day. These caption races, though.
Yeah.
The caption races.
She's dying to do numbers, so
I
let's
am.
start with the big numbers. Let's punch up the scores from yesterday. I'll give you the 10,000 foot view here, and then Lindsey is going to dig right in. Blue Coats first at 97.525, but Boston less than a point away.
Yeah.
Hey.
And we kind of anticipated, right, that Blue Coats might separate themselves.
Yep.
Specifically on day one.
Blue Devils less than a point behind Boston. They've kind of been on that island. This is interesting, though, that fourth and fifth spot could not be any closer.
10th of a point.
38th 100ths of a point between Crown and Phantom.
And they've been back and forth the last couple of weeks, so.
Phantom lit it up last night.
They did.
You get to Santa Clara, everybody excited to see them back on the field. They're strong, holding their spot. Mandarins, Blue Stars, Colts, they all appear to be pretty solid. Colts up in ninth, pretty secure in their spots.
They are. Those tend to say they've separated themselves a little bit as they've gone. That Cavaliers, Troopers thing.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. The Troopers right there on the Cavies backside by less than half a point.
And it's exciting either way. I mean, the Troopers, they were electric yesterday. The crowd really lit up. The guitar player that you mentioned in yesterday's spot is one of your favorite spots. And then just in how it's ending with the Troopers aesthetic and their flag, and you know, the old school Troopers guy winning the end of the day.
And the place really lit up when Madison came out and made a statement that said, "We're finalist caliber," and they look like they're solid.
They do.
12.
They look pretty solid. You never want to call the show, and we can't give you any make you any promises. But they seem solidly in 12th.
Rest of the numbers, we got a great race, 13 through 15. Crest, Blue Knights, Crossmen, all within half a point of each other. And that matters. You say, okay, you're out of the top 12, who cares? But no, those placings matter.
We did. We talked about this on the way over, just in casual conversation, honestly. On the way over, you talk about the top 12, but what we don't want to do is forget that 13 through 20 matter. To those cores, that matters. Just because we've maybe decided a top 12 doesn't mean that 13, 14, 15, and 16 don't hold some weight with some organizations. So people are still fighting within that range.
Yeah, we can see some shuffling. 4 open class cores made it in. Spartans, BDB, Gold, Battalion, Music City, and Academy. They're less than 3/10 apart in 17 and 18. So there's a lot to watch tonight.
There's a lot, yeah.
Now, Lindsey loves numbers. In fact, we should have a little...
I love analyzing other people's
We should have an open in here. Lindsey does the numbers. Captions. You know, you get this score based on 100 points, but it's broken out with all these captions. So I'm going to launch you now with a big one.
All right.
General effect. Let's go.
Okay, we talked about this. Yes, we talked about this 2 days ago, that general effect is the big daddy, right? And usually that's what's going to determine the show. So when you get a recap, and you can find these online at dci.org under the scores category, when you look at the recap, you'll see what we call an ordinal, and it will have a 1, 2, 3, 4. It will have the ranking of every core along with the rating system, the numbers that are given. And so I get excited about that, to see, we call it sometimes the zip code ordinals, where it just looks like numbers all over. And at the beginning of the season, that's what they tend to look like, because everyone's still figuring it out and not everyone's fully developed. And so, but last night was so interesting. GE, perfectly in order. Blue Coats, Boston Crusaders, Blue Devils, in that order. Crown and Phantom, however, flipped. There was a 10th difference there, and they did flip on that 4-5 in the GE.
And typically, whoever wins GE historically wins the show.
Visual, this same story. We are in order all the way down. Phantom and Santa Clara tied in that visual caption. And again, we go back to, well, how do you tie? You have 100. I mean, how can you possibly
And two
find
very
a tie?
different approaches.
Oh, very much
Santa
so.
Clara, nothing on that field except a drum corps,
right?
basically.
It is, and how Mike Gaines just works that field is a prop in itself, honestly. But you wonder, like, well, how can you tie? There's so many points. Again, they don't sit up there and discuss the numbers with each other. They're putting down their number. The math adds up at the end of the day, and there we go. Next, we have brass. Again, everything is in order, and it's crazy because we talked on the first day together that really GE calls the show, but everything really seems to be lining out specifically in the top 5, 6 in a pattern. And then, as drummers tend to do,
there are different species drummers.
As they tend to do, percussion and guard caption is everywhere, and it makes sense. It is a very black and white caption. They kind of live in their own world. The percussion and the guard, they just kind of, they're not separated out, right? They count in the general effect, they count in that. In the color guard world, all the costuming and the silks and all of that, that does not count in the guard caption. It counts totally in a different spot. So they kind of, you're gonna see that zip code ordinals as we talked about happen, and we do, it's all over the place. Last year, example, Cavaliers.
8th place?
Yeah, they win the
Won
Sanford.
drums.
Yeah, they win drums and they finish in 8th place. Yesterday, Santa Clara, 6th overall and 3rd in drums. And so, again, those are the captions that you're gonna see. A core overall might be here, and their caption might be here. Percussion and guard, always the tricky captions. But that's the fun stuff.
Yeah, and Boston won drums.
They did.
So
yeah,
there you
did.
go. And color guard.
That's the numbers.
Man, color guard, just, there's so much good stuff happening
There
with
is.
guards.
And I mean, Carolina Crown last night was just, I mean, as close to perfect as I have seen them in a long time. And it's so hard to make those decisions. And again, this is why we're out here talking about everybody else's choices and not making our own choices. So.
Good point.
Yes,
good point.
yeah.
Very good point. So, yesterday we did 5 things, or 5 things to watch for. About halfway through the night, I said, "Wait a minute, I want that one. No, I'm changing my. I want that." We're going to give you another set of 5 things to watch for. I'm going to start out. No, you start out. You get to go first this time.
I get to go. Everybody, write that down. I get to go first this time. Let's see. What do I have here?
You like
Spirit of Atlanta.
Spirit of Atlanta. It goes with your color scheme.
It does. Yesterday was the first time I actually saw Spirit of Atlanta live. I'm into the weird, man. It was awesome. The props, and then there were spiders on stilts.
Yeah.
And then a gold angel, and it was all the stuff, and the black and the white, and how the guard was on the tarp, and the coordination of all the colors. It was all just everything about it. There was what of Spirit of Atlanta is my thing? The weirdness. I was into it. I loved it.
There you go. All right, my thing, number 2, pretty much anything Madison did last night. My gosh, it is so good to see them back. It's a great show. But the high point probably when those props turn toward the end and you see the fleur-de-lis, the characteristic signature of the Scouts, and then they let loose with the punch.
And the crowd was, already up.
Yeah.
The crowd was already on their feet when that turned, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, watch for that one.
It
All
was
right,
pretty
your
cool.
turn.
Okay. I am not, this is a shocker, folks. I am not in any way a cymbals guru, connoisseur, pro, if you will. I know nothing about cymbals other than that looks really, really difficult. The Crossmen cymbal line is 100% in my top 5 from yesterday. I got to stand near the corner of the field, and they were right up close to me at one point. And the choreography, they're tossing them, and they're catching, and they're doing it, and you're thinking, well, the color guard does that. This is a metal plate.
With sharp edges?
But yes, it is not rounded edges. So the Crossman cymbal line for me was so impressive. That had to make my list today.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
That works. I'll give you that. Mandarins. They start, there's the solo horn player up there. We're in Bourbon Street, and then all of a sudden, whoop, the props open up, and there is a magnificent horn line.
Oh my goodness. And just right out of the gate. And I feel like all of the corps have really done that right out of the gate. But only the Mandarins open their props, and everybody's hidden in there, and it's amazing.
And then at the end, they're gone.
They're gone.
It's cool.
We call that a book ending, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Number
you're
5,
You're
here she
welcome.
goes.
Okay. Number 5, Carolina Crowns prop, Mount Olympus prop.
You're taking the prop for number 5.
I am. The prop alone gets its own thing. We have a prop caption now at DCI. The motion of the flame at the top I think because it's an Olympics year, maybe I'm a little more connected to it, but the torchbearer comes down. They utilize it in so many ways. The color guard starts all on the prop, and because of their costuming, they look like the flame itself. It works so well. Towards that, before that beautiful ballad that only Crown does, there's this massive chain that is just heavy and weight-bearing, and they focus it all to the prop. The prop is really, it's a standalone shout-out.
Wow.
Carolina Crown
Okay,
prop. Yeah.
You heard it here. Another big thing we're looking forward to tonight. I cannot wait. I'm loving these alumni corps that come back for the anniversary performances. Crossmen, 50th anniversary corps, 350 members strong.
I can't wait. I love an alumni corps.
Scott Litzenberg tells us what went into putting this together and what to look for.
My name is Scott Litzenberg. I am one of the co-coordinators, along with Rick Reedy and Danita Stemmet, of the Crossmen's 50th Anniversary Alumni Corps. It's been a really fun process. We started planning, the initial planning stages 3 years ago, and then sign-ups a little over 2 years ago for people. We have people in the drum corps from every year of the corps plus one. And the plus one is a gentleman who marched in one of the two corps that merged to form the Crossmen, 507 Hornets. And his son marched later when he was old enough, and they're both getting to march together in the bass drum line, which is really cool. Every year the corps is represented. Our oldest member is 71. Our youngest is 19. So it's really interesting. We have a member marching whose father was an alumni and he passed away, and he wanted to march in honor of his father. And so we have him in the corps. We have a lot of really interesting stories. We're from 42 states and 5 countries. The show is titled Bells, and it's a really interesting retrospective of the corps' history. The bells represent, we were originally for the first 34 years from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, and the Liberty Bell obviously is a big part of that. Last 16 years we've been from San Antonio, and there's a bell in the Alamo. So we're kind of tying the two bells together. You'll hear that theme throughout the show. Musically we tried to pick some of the best moments of the corps throughout the history, some songs that mean a lot to a lot of the members. And I think it's a nice variety and a really fun way to present what we're doing out there. We're hoping to show them part of who we are and the spirit of what this corps is, and to help get them to give that energy back to us on the field. It's a very high energy, very emotional presentation. So hopefully we can affect their emotion to really respond to what we're doing out there. I think there will be absolutely no question we come out of the tunnels that we are the Crossmen. The uniform that we're wearing is a very traditional Crossman uniform. Many of our members have never been able to wear that uniform, especially the Aussies, which is a big deal to our members. For many years they haven't worn them, and it's really nice that even some of the younger men, we have people that aged out last year that are marching in the corps. So it's really neat that they get a chance to wear those, and they're very proud of that. So it's a very striking visual presentation, from the uniform to the color guard and the corps together. We've had 7 days of rehearsal. It's broken up that the San Antonio team, about a third of the corps rehearsed the weekend of San Antonio for 3 days. And we did the ultimate drill book and getting the show on the field. And then we did 3 days over Allentown, Friday through Sunday, and did the 2/3 of the corps that was there. Our first day with everybody together was Tuesday. And it worked. It worked. And we look at almost each day of our 7 days of rehearsal as a different week of the season. And we're very surprised and pleased at how far we got and what they're going to do tonight. So it was very different from other alumni corps have done, because they've always been from the same place, and we weren't. So we had to think a little differently. A long truck ride to San Antonio and back with uniform fittings and equipment, and it's worked. So we're pretty happy.
Boy, that's going to be fun. They have worked hard. Hear that?
I do. Very loudly, actually.
Yeah. All age corps is getting ready to go. Let's go out there and see what's happening. This is kind of fun, watching the all-age corps come in here and get used to this stadium. They've never
been in the stadium.
Been here before.
They've never been in the stadium.
Some of these corps haven't seen each other in competition.
Yeah, and they're doing
a
a full walk-on. They're timing it. They're doing it. And then, yeah, again, like you said, they haven't seen each other. So they're really just here for the fun of it.
It's very exciting, the
It is.
addition of this all-age division, DCA coming into the DCI fold, and This really has to work, I think, this experiment, and their championships are Saturday. Ticket sales have been pretty good. And
they have, even if it's something that you're not sure about and you again, it's the first time, so everybody would be unfamiliar. But if you can make it out early and you can give them an audience, it will be well worth your time.
Yeah, I've seen several of these
Yes.
cores, and there's some pretty good quality there. So let's again run through today for you the top 25. You know the fireworks to look for. We've laid that out for you. Also tonight, we're going to formally recognize our new members of the Hall of Fame, Drum Corps International Hall of Fame, and it's the age out ceremony. That's always emotional.
Our foot is on the gas from now until the end of Saturday night. There's so many things to do. There's so many things to take in, so many things to experience, and so much for us to continue to talk about.
That's right. Top 25 from tonight, top 12. A rise out of that and go on to Saturday's final. So a lot to watch. We hope you join us here on Flow, and we'll be chatting with you again tomorrow.
Yep.
All right.